What's wrong with you, Huma? Well, that is what many asking today. That is the very question the New York Post asked. Why is Huma Abedin, a longtime Hillary Clinton aide, somebody extremely, not just politically savvy, astute here, anyone who's ever dealt with her, and some of us at the table have over the years, she is held in the highest regard from people in New York political circles, and for good reasons, even after her stint certainly at the State Department as well. Nonetheless, with all that, the former Clinton aide continuing to stand by her man after yet another scandal. And Andrew, he joins us with more on that and the article that she wrote about her husband shortly before this latest scandal came out.
And you know, it's interesting, Rich, for as angry as people are at Anthony Weiner, it's his wife, Huma, who has now started to receive a lot of criticism as well.
Build community centers, and we're going to build jobs for people.
Anthony Weiner is back on the campaign trail. But it's his wife, Huma, and her words of forgiveness.
I love him. I have forgiven him.
That now seem to be the real story, even overshadowing her husband's mayoral campaign.
She was way too nice in that thing. I mean, he needs to be married to Judge Judy. That's who.
From TV.
Would you continue to stand by your man?
To the streets of New York.
I thought to myself, seriously? Seriously, how could she stand in front of all those people and try to make right of it?
And of course, on Twitter. Women around the country now wondering how Abedin could forgive Weiner for yet another sexting scandal.
A woman can't win in this situation. If she doesn't show up, she's a disloyal wife. The guy has behaved so badly that there's nothing for a wife really to do.
In an essay for Harper's Bazaar written before Weiner's most recent revelation, she says, quote, New Yorkers will have to decide for themselves whether or not to give him a second chance. I had to make that same decision for myself, for my son, for our family, and I know in my heart that I made the right one.
A friend of Huma's told the New York Daily News that she nearly ended their marriage last fall because of her husband's return to sexting. Rich?
And there is an open question as to when she actually found out about these, call them infidelities, call them whatever you want, about the extra marital stuff that he was involved in, the most recent stuff that's come out. Some people said she was blindsided this week here. Other people said, or at least he claimed, Anthony Weiner, that she knew before. All that aside, I want you to take off your hat here as a lawmaker for a moment. I'll come back to that in a second. You've heard these same debates and these same dialogues about what she should or shouldn't do. Does it make a difference if it's after the first offense or after the second offense? How did you look at what she did? She didn't just stand by him. She spoke up in his defense yesterday, which by itself I think took a lot of people off guard.
Well, I don't think about it that way. I think that she had the right to decide how she wanted to handle whatever personal problems her husband had, and I respect her right to do that. Whether I would have stood there with my husband, I would not have stood there. But I do respect that in her personal life, she can say, you know what, I love this person, he has failings. I don't have a problem with that. I think highly of her professionally, and I personally am worried about her professional career. She has a lot on the line. She has a lot to be proud of. She's done a remarkable job, and I'd hate to think that she sacrificed that for someone who's made some serious mistakes. But in their personal life, whatever decision they make, it's not for me to criticize. I don't do that.
How critical do you think it was that she was not only there, but then spoke? Because I know going into the event, I said, I don't think there's anything this guy's going to say, and I stood by that afterwards. But she was the only saving grace, even though whether we think less of her after she said it or not, somebody's personal opinion, but did she save him by talking yesterday?
I think she saved him for yesterday. I don't know that it'll last. I thought it was extremely difficult for me as a woman, as a married person for a long time, to watch. It was a very painful thing, and it was obvious there was some humiliation sort of sitting out there, and you felt so badly. I think she kept him alive yesterday. I don't know that it'll last. I really am not confident that it'll last.
There were a lot of people who said, not just who we heard from in this piece, but a lot of other people who said, whatever advancements, and this is a very professionally accomplished woman,
right.
It was a step back for women. The whole stand by your man thing yesterday, especially not after doing it once, but after doing it yet again, and all the promises and everything never coming through on it, especially, I'm sorry, but after the kid was born, I mean, months after that's going on, personal decision, I grant you, but that she was diminished because of it.
Well, I'm concerned about that, but I do think it's very important to separate her personal life from her professional life. She has a lot on the line. I would hate for her to go a step backwards because she chose out of loyalty to do it publicly. Privately, if she wants to say whatever she says, again, I don't think it should be for all of us to decide how someone should live their married life.
You know, Dominic, you've covered a lot of campaigns, and the families have always, as you said, the toughest jobs out of this. And I'm curious, they have to buy in completely on this or not, but we've seen a lot of spouses who either will stand there, not say anything, or some that won't show up now. I think there's a new playbook than there was 15, 20 years ago. But there is a dynamic. We don't know what it is here, but if you're going to run, and they had to make a decision to run, they knew it wasn't going to be pretty, that maybe they understood this was going to come with the territory.
They knew that this came with the territory. You know, Richard, the story I always tell in debates when I had to ask a tough question, it was always the wife backstage that would curse me out like a dog. The candidate would just walk past me, but the wife would walk up, how dare you, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they're human, you have to let it go. You know, it's the wife, you take it, you look at the candidate and say, you're going to pay for this, and then you move on. In this case, I resent people trying to tell her, I think what the Assemblywoman was saying, tell her what to do with her marriage. Now, I think she's hurt her career tremendously. I don't think she's going to be Hillary Clinton's point person in the presidential campaign anymore. Hillary's going to have to disassociate herself from her longtime aide. So it's hurtful to see.
At least in a public capacity.
In a public capacity. It's hurtful to see her career go down like this.
And you can't exaggerate, so everybody knows how close those two were.
I just want to say this one last thing. To everyone that says, oh, I wouldn't stand there with my husband, get put in that situation. 9 out of 10 women would stand right there with their husband.
Know, I mean, first of all, that Hillary Clinton thing, those are two dots that are just too juicy to not connect for people. Yeah, you know, and there are some people out there that say, there's the radio guy in me. Some people out there say, you know, look, Hillary Clinton successfully parlayed that move, standing by her man, while saying she wasn't standing by her man. Hillary Clinton leaves Bill Clinton in 90 whatever. She's not Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. She parlayed that and got paid for it.
I don't think, and who knows who's right, that if he did it again, that she would have been standing right there and would have gotten to the mic, okay? And now you're also talking about somebody who wasn't Huma Abedin. We know this is inside baseball a little bit, but everybody knew her. Every single person, you took that phone call if she called, okay? I know from dealing with, I mean, Senator Clinton, then Senator Clinton cut the ribbon to the studio, okay? And she's been very good to this program. You had to go through her for everything. So to that end, it's not like she didn't have options and just had nothing else but had to go by the coattails. Again, I don't do anything. The only thing I can say is, and I'm not as qualified because if you're a guy, one of my 2 daughters was standing there yesterday, right? I would be like, you're better than him to start with. You're better than him today. Get the heck out of there. Now, they have to make their own decision.
There's different stand by your man. I resent that there's sort of one standard. She should be faulted for standing by her man, or she should, you know, or she should have definitely stood by her man. There's many gradations. I think what Hillary did, and you know, we're having to be talking about this, very different. It was a highly partisan climate. They were going after Bill Clinton with axes, not to take away from what he did. She approached it from a partisan level. She talked about it in a different way, and she personally, obviously, made whatever peace. But I don't think there's one standard. You know, you either have to stand by your husband when they get under attack, or you have to stay in the background and say, I hate you, I'll never have you.
Assemblywoman, though, these are both within the realm of politics. Shelley, these are both within the realm of politics.
Yeah.
However hyper-partisan the environment, this is the mayor's race for the city of New York. This is politics. Same rationale. This is the second most difficult job in the country.
Okay, but is it possible she could love her man?
This is not the mayor's
Is it possible she could love her man?
Don't get me wrong. Absolutely, very possible.
So
but I'm saying,
she's supposed to do, and Hillary too, what we tell her to do, what's in her best interest.
I'm not jumping to any conclusion.
That's her man. She loves her man. You can see it in her eyes.
Very well love her man.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I mean, you can see she loves her.
I don't know that
Look at right in your eyes, baby. And that's my segue out. When we come back, don't be clapping, TJ. You're not going to like this next one. Is the GOP out of touch?
Yes.
And I'm nodding yes.
Yes.
And are they doing their best here to shrink their base when the opportunities are right in front of them to pick up seats. We're going to explain what I'm talking about after this. And later, we're going to have Andrew's one-on-one with Barbara Buono here. She's got some tough words for the man she wants to unseat and the man she's trailing by big numbers in the race for governor of New Jersey. Stay with us.